start the Imprisoning War, and it's going to destroy Hyrule and everything. And Zelda goes, okay, here, I want you to go get this, that, and do this and whatever. You go do it. By the time you come back to the castle, you see it raining and it's dark. And you're like, what's going on? You see Impa comes chasing out of there with Zelda, and Zelda throws you the ocarina. And you're like, huh, what's going on? And then Ganon comes out. And he's like, man, I know what you about, B. You just don't know who I am. But I know who you are. And Link's like, well, what you talking about? Get out of here. And then Link's like, ah! And Ganon goes chasing off after Zelda. In that time right there, time segues into an alternate reality. Not an alternate reality, I'm sorry, said that wrong. Into a split because of the ocarina. When Link used that ocarina in the Temple of Time with the sword, and he went to the time chamber with Raoul, or however you pronounce his name, that was the segue. Hyrule had to be frozen because of that, because there was a paradox. He's creating a paradox. Link is supposed to remain in his timeline, but he left it. Right. So something is now, time is like, the main timeline is like, oh wait, whoa. Link is supposed to be here. Where is Link? Link is outside of time. Raoul expresses this to you. You're in a chamber outside of time. Yep. So now the main timeline, so what's going on in the main timeline? Well, in the main timeline, you're disrupting everything, and you're creating, well, he doesn't tell you this, but when you look at it, Wind Waker is being born right there and then. Because if you look at or read this, turn on Wind Waker HD and read the story. If you read the story, it tells you, it says Hyrule prospered and was this and that and blah blah blah, just like the beginning of Ocarina of Time, right? And then one day darkness fell upon it, and Ganon ruled the land, and out of nowhere, the hero of time appeared. Well, of course the hero of time appeared from nowhere. He left and went outside of time, and Raoul sent him back into it. And when he sent him back into it, he didn't send him back to his main timeline. He sent him back into the alternative paradox timeline. That's why Link just appeared out of nowhere. And that's why Link was older. That's why in Wind Waker, the statue of the hero of time is an older Link. Because in Ocarina of Time, when Link reappeared, he didn't appear as a child. He appeared as an adult.
Adult Link, yeah.
So that's where the paradox happened. Now that Link that appeared there as an adult came from main timeline A, but he's in the paradox timeline. So it's the same Link, just older, because he left out of time. So now we have a problem here. So Link exists in two times of Hyrule at the same time, running in the same thing, because he's doing his ocarina bit. And this is where the paradox time, he's creating the origin of the paradox in Ocarina of Time, while in Ocarina of Time at the same time. So now this is the origin. Like in main timeline A, Skyward Sword is the origin, but in the paradox timeline, Ocarina of Time is its origin, because it's happening in two games at the same time. What you do in Ocarina of Time in the future of Hyrule is what the legend talks about in Wind Waker. Mm-hmm. Hero of Time came out of nowhere, destroyed Ganon, and when he destroyed Ganon, what does the legend say in Wind Waker? Then the hero of Time vanished.
Yeah. He went back.
Never to be seen before. Well, what happens at the end of Ocarina of Time?
Just like in the game, he goes back.
Zelda says, let me send you back to your time. So it's the same Link. So she sends Link back in time, which the main timeline had to stop because Link wasn't there. Now when Link comes back to Zelda as a kid, he has a Triforce of Courage on him. And he's like, Zelda, this happened already. Your father's about to employ Ganon. A war will break out. Ganon will kill your father, and then he's going to run amok and destroy Hyrule. You can't let this happen. So Zelda goes, okay, oh, you have the Triforce on you? All right, so then you obviously have to be the Triforce of Courage warning me. I'm going to warn my father, and we're going to stop Ganon from doing this before it happens, right? So here, take my ocarina, and now Link hasn't grown up yet, so Link can get the Epona horse while he's still young. Mm-hmm. So now the main timeline is continuing on as it's supposed to. But don't forget, the Paradox timeline is continuing on its own, running parallel with the main timeline. So then Link goes, gets his horse, right, Epona, takes the Ocarina, and she's like, you need to take the Ocarina, and Ganon cannot get his hand on it. Don't worry about Ganon. My father will stop him before he rises to his power. Which then, if you go back to the Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, that is how the Imprisoning War began. Right. So now you say to yourself, but in the Imprisoning War, it said Link wasn't there. Link was never around in the Imprisoning War. So what happened to Link if Link came back? Oh, that's right. He has the Ocarina and he has the Epona horse. So what happens after that? Yes, Majora's Mask. Yeah. Link wasn't there because he went to an alternate realm. So he wasn't there when the Imprisoning War happens. So while Link is in Termia doing his thing, Ganon is doing the Imprisoning War right there. That's why when Link comes back from Termia, right, he comes back into what game? Twilight Princess. And in Twilight Princess, it explains to you that the Knights of Hyrule fought Ganon and imprisoned him, crucified him to the wall, and that sounds like the Imprisoning War.
Y'all gotta stop. Hold up.
It's too much.
I'm out here blowing up over here, man.
Just wait till we start talking about that.
I just want to say real quick to point out that with everything he's been saying, with everything Triforce has been saying, that I've been saying, that we all been saying, people still will say Zelda's storyline isn't that good.
Which is stupid. That's crazy.
I mean, dude, this could be better than Lord of the Rings.
Whether Nintendo did it on purpose or accident is irrelevant to how godlike the story is. It's still godlike. It doesn't matter if they did it on accident. If it's accident, then it's a beautiful accident. I'll take it. Either way, I'll take it. But now, so let's go. Let's continue on. So we remember now. We have to keep both times the Paradox timeline running parallel with the main timeline. So now, peep this now, right? So boom. So now we know how main timeline A goes. So we have Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and then you have what's the name of this thing here? Excuse me. What's the name of this game here? Twilight, right? So we're gonna
That's the main timeline right now.
Main timeline. So this is all the dark stuff that's going on. So right after Twilight Princess, obviously is the Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, because it was in the main timeline that they talk about the Imprisoning War. So Nintendo can go back and create the Imprisoning War right there, smack in the middle between Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess, if they so chose to. So there's another game Nintendo can make when they go with this. So boom. So now you have that, and then you have a Link to the Past, right? So this is when I knew Nintendo wanted to fix something wrong with the time. When they remade A Link to the Past. And I'm not talking about A Link to the Past DX. I'm talking about A Link to the Past 4 Swords.
Yeah.
Because they did something in the Link to the Past 4 Swords that I was like, wait, why would they do that? So now we're going to pause the main timeline right there at A Link to the Past. It's very important that we pause it there, right? Let's go to the Paradox timeline. So in the Paradox timeline now, Link now visits, this is crazy. In the Wind Waker, Link actually visits the Prime timeline. He actually goes there. When you go down in the Temple of the Gods and you see the timeline frozen, that timeline, this is the part I don't understand, how people don't understand. When you meet Tetra in her boat, for all you Zelda Knights out there that was on some that did what I did, when you went into Zelda's Tetra's room on her boat, you use the camera, if you were smart enough, you would have taken cameras and saved those games on slots 2 and 3 and take a picture of everything in Zelda's room on the boat. You would have saw Zelda's mother, the King of Hyrule, and all of the maps and everything of the old Hyrule. It's all in her room on her boat. And I did that, and I was like, yo, these must be clues to the old remnants of the old Hyrule. And when I went to the Palace of the Gods and I went downstairs, I was like, what happened here? Why is all of these dreadnoughts here and Starfoids and goblins? And I'm like, the Imprisoning War. This is it. This is what happened when Link was gone. when Link was gone and the Imprisoning War happened, they stormed Hyrule Castle. Wow. And I was like, oh, so this is what happened back in Ocarina of Time when Link disappeared. So I was like, so that's further evidence that the Imprisoning War took place. So I was like, this is kind of godlike that they made a game that had two timelines running parallel in the same game at the same time. And while one